everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good day, of course, depending where you are watching us from. And today, I am your host, Dr. Hope Sibuyi, and here we are, Rope for Hope Talk Show. We are bringing you Africa, and we take Africa to the world. We bring Africa to you, and we are here, One Africa Radio TV. And yes, don't forget to subscribe, like, and of course, hit that notification button so that every time we have a show like this, it will notify you. I am so excited. I'm sure you can see how I'm smiling because today I've got my guest, my queen, my beautiful queen, that we are going to grind this thing together and we are going to talk about. And yes, share our link with everybody. Tell everybody to watch this show because we want somebody's life to be transformed. With me today, I have the one and only Mrs. Mixo Mulaudzi, the preacher. She is here today, of course, to grind and transform our life. Madam, last year I called you Ceci. This year I call you Mrs.
Yes.
How are you? You are welcome and thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Doctor, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. You are welcome. Please feel free today. You're going to speak to us and all ears are ready to hear the wisdom that God has laid in your heart. To somebody who's watching you out there and want to know who is Mixo Mulaudzi, the preacher.
Thank you. Mixo Mulaudzi, the preacher, is a sister, a friend, a wife, a daughter, a speaker, a preacher, and known for speaking about purpose.
Known speaking about purpose, and today you are going to speak to us about purpose because that is one thing that is really confusing a lot of people to understand what is purpose. So please talk to us. What is purpose?
From the dictionary, purpose is the reason why something it is made. So when it comes to human existence, we want to know, why are we here? Why did God release us from eternity to time? For what purpose? So to understand it easy is for us to know that the purpose preceded our conception. What am I saying? When God in Jeremiah said, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. So God knew that there is a purpose, and the purpose needs a person to fulfill it on earth. So before you were conceived, the purpose was there. God needed you to come on earth to come and fulfill that purpose. So if people are asking the question, do we all have a purpose? Yes. The only passport you needed from eternity to time was purpose. You were released because there's a purpose that God wants you to fulfill once you land on earth. So in essence, we all have a purpose. Then the question comes into, what is my purpose?
What is my purpose? How do I know
what
my
am
purpose?
I born to do?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you have a name, you have an ID number, you have a location, you have a physical appearance, you are short, you are tall, you are light, you are dark. Everything that reflects you were shaped for your purpose. You are perfect for your purpose. So how then do I know my purpose? You have to start with God, because He is the God of purpose. You cannot discover the purpose outside of God. Because if you discover the purpose outside of God, it's not a God purpose. It might be an evil purpose. So in essence, God released us because there was a problem that needed us to solve it. So if you haven't discovered your purpose, it means that there are people that are still waiting for you to liberate them once you discover why you were here.
My goodness.
There are songs that people are waiting to hear until you release that album. There are libraries that are on hold because people haven't discovered that there are writers in them. So how do I really discover this? You start with God. God is the founder of purpose. You go back to Him to say, God, why did you release me from eternity to time? What is it that you wanted me to do? Then the second thing, you can look at your giftings. God has released every one of us with gifts. So the gifts are more of tools to help us fulfill the purpose. If you look at the characters in the Bible, most of them had a gift that enabled them to fulfill the purpose. If we can look at Joseph, for example, he had a gift as a dreamer.
A dreamer, yeah.
But what he was assigned to do was to save the world from hunger. So he needed...
That was the main purpose.
Yes.
All what he was going through was leading him to the purpose.
Yes, which was to save nations from hunger. So if Joseph did not respond to his purpose, people could have died of hunger because he did not respond to his purpose.
So are you saying that there are pains that we go through that actually those pains are leading us to our purpose?
Yes.
But how do I know which pain is leading me to the purpose and which one is actually not leading me to the purpose? Because sometimes I know that you have peace, and that's where some people will say when you feel that peace within you, even though things are not aligned, then you know you are still within the grace of God towards where He wants you to be. Is that what also you can say, that when you feel that inner peace inside of you?
Okay, purpose is in phases.
Okay.
There's a phase of pain, there's a phase of peace, there's a phase of confusion, there's a phase where you feel lost, but you're still in your purpose. For example, when Jesus said to his disciples, let us go to the other side. They are going to the other side because they are listening to what Jesus has said. So they are in the right state with their walk with God. But even on their journey, there's a storm. So if you look at that storm, it looks like you will ask yourself, what wrong did I do? What sin did I commit? Why am I going through a storm in my life? But in essence, when we check their situation, we can realize that they were in the direction where God has said, let us go to the other side. So the storms coming to your life is not a sign that you are outside your purpose or you're not doing the right thing. You are actually on your way fulfilling what God wants you to fulfill. However, if we don't have the storm, we won't know God as the calmer of the storms.
My goodness.
Usually our situations are there to reveal a new name of who God is in our lives. So even if there's pain or there's peace, you are still in line with your purpose. Yes.
Like, you said something that, God trusts us to solve problems here on earth.
Yes.
Is it why, like when we go in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, where, for example, God did everything in 6 days, but on the sixth day, He created a man. Then He rested because two gods could not rule the earth. So He rested, and from there He gave us as the gods, because He said, don't you know you are gods?
Yes.
So is that what you are talking about, to say God trusted us to come and solve the problem here on earth?
Yes. And if you check with the creation of man, the Bible says there was no rain on earth because there was no man to till the ground.
Oh my God.
So Adam needed to come so that he can work the ground as soon as there is rain. So there are some things that God will not do because there is no man available to do the assignment.
Not that God cannot do it.
Because there is no man available. So God is powerful and is able. But now He's counting on us to really fulfill the purpose that He has called us to fulfill. That is why we need to understand that leaders are born when they are needed. Sometimes you can wish to say...
Please say that again. Please say that again.
Leaders are born when they are needed. Sometimes we wish I should have been born the time of who and who. You are born now because you are needed now. And you need to respond to your purpose now. So if you don't know your purpose, you usually position yourself amiss. You waste time, you waste your life, you waste the resources. And you often feel the longing of a belonging. Because in most cases, you can have friends, you can be in the presence of people, but still feel lonely. So in essence, loneliness is not the absence of people, but it is the absence of purpose. So as soon as you realize what your purpose is on earth, you will never feel bored or not knowing what to do, because every day you will wake up hoping to fulfill what God has called you to fulfill.
My goodness. understanding purpose. My goodness, we will be right back. But right now, right, like what she just said, let's just sink in. Please grab your coffee, your water, whatever. Sit back on that couch because we will be right back as we are taking it deeper. But don't forget to tell somebody, and do share our link with everybody. We'll see you after the break. Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Hope Sibuyi and I'm running a show, Rope for Hope, where I am here to give you hope. Are you discouraged? Do you want inspiration? We are here to lift you up because it's not yet over until it is over. Are you an author, a singer, or you want to come here? Let the world know that the pain that you went through has resulted into you being this great. Do DM me on my Facebook, Hope Sibuyi, and on my Instagram, I am Dr. Hope Sibuyi. And of course, do follow me also on www.oneafricaradio.tv so that you can tell me how you want me to help you, because we want to help you to lift you up. We are there for you. Don't you give up. Welcome back, and you are still with me, your host, Dr. Hope Sibuyi, and we are here, Rope for Hope Talk Show. We are One Africa Radio TV, and in all our social handles, we are One Africa Radio TV. Please do follow us there because we've got great news that we share with you every day. And I'm still here with my beautiful queen. We're talking about purpose. Welcome back, Mrs. Mulaudzi.
Thank you so much.
I believe you are 30 days
30 plus days.
30 plus days in marriage. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm learning a lot. And I'm happy.
So it's how did we okay, let's go back to the purpose, then we will come back to that because I have one question that I need to ask.
Okay.
So in the purpose, you did define the purpose and you explain how one can actually identify their purpose. But how do I know what leads me to my purpose? Or I can say, what is the difference between the talent and the gifts? Is it part of my purpose to know my gift or or what's the difference between the two?
Okay. For what I'll be talking about, your gift and your talent is one thing.
Okay.
It's something that you have been given naturally, so by God.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that I can put in the picture is a skill. That is something that doesn't come natural for you, but you had to go to school to learn it. So, for example, someone finds it easy to speak, or rather we can all speak, but someone finds it easy to put words together and stand and encourage people. And someone who can speak also, you'll tell them, I want you to come and speak, and they'll be like, no, I can't speak, because they need to polish that skill of speaking. To someone it comes natural, to someone you have to go an extra mile and polish that. And it's part of the package of purpose. You need those skills to fulfill purpose. Another person who had a gift is David. He is a worshiper. We know him for worshiping God. For him to worship and the bad spirit leaves Saul, he needed to play that part as a gift. To fulfill that assignment, to liberate the king. So there are a lot of things that God will allow us to be able to do so that we can be on the line to fulfill purpose. If you are assigned to liberate people maybe from sin, you have to be able to know how to evangelize. And if you can't, then you'll have to go to a Bible school where they train you on how to do it. So in essence, to fulfill purpose is not a one-person show. You might need other people to come on board to help you to fulfill it, but you have to be the pioneer of that particular purpose. You have to be the one leading, even if you are not good at some areas, because we might not be good at everything, but we need people to come on board to carry us to fulfill purpose. For example, if you didn't say yes to the vision of having this show, we wouldn't be sitting here today. And even our audience wouldn't be watching us. So you have to start somewhere where you are able to do the fulfillment of your purpose. And we'll need the team to help us do the job that God has assigned us to do.
So, say for example, you spoke about the phases of a purpose. And I wanted to break down, because mostly I believe that we lose the purpose when we are going through the rough patch of our lives, and where we actually even become confused to say, is this really what God wants me to do? If this is what God wants me to do, why is so much storms, you know, that I am going through? Have you experienced that in your life, where you go through, you know, the rough page, where you're like, nah, you know what, nah, this aren't working for me. But purpose said, hey, we are still here. Have you experienced that in the journey of your life?
Yeah, I have. On my side, I could say it's failing academically. Yeah, where on my first year I failed, and my second year in my first year I failed. So that journey redirected my life. Where when I had to go back to school now, I had to go to a different institution, and in that institution,
So are you saying failure also is part of...
It's part of the package.
Please talk to us.
Nothing happens against you. Everything is well planned by God to shape your life. If you check the life of Joseph, he was also betrayed by his brothers. They are the ones who sold him. But if we look into that story, we can realize that if they didn't sell him, how was he going to get to Egypt? So failure is part of the package. Failure is success in progress. We don't have to stop.
It's so hard.
It is.
It's, you know, when you are at that point, nothing makes sense.
It is. Sometimes,
what do you do in that stage where you feel nothing really makes sense? Because, I mean, when you come to reality and you failed, and you have no one to pay for, you know, for your next year, and they're busy saying, that was the only money we had, and now you have failed. You know, instead of them encouraging you, they're actually crushing you. How do you really come back and still find your purpose in this? Is it not also where most of people commit suicide and like, you know what, because no one is backing me up?
It is a sad reality. One thing I like about purpose, it is built in. No matter how much pain we go through, the purpose that God has concerning us is still there. If you check, for example, a bird that is caged, it still have the ability to fly. But its environment now has caged it to believe that it can't fly. But going through the worst in life does not mean that your purpose is aborted. Your purpose is built in. What guarantees purpose is that you still have breath in your lungs. As long as you are still living, purpose still needs to be fulfilled. The only person that we can say it's over with them are those who are at the grave. Hence, Dr. Miles Monroe said something that the richest place is the graveyard, because there are people who are supposed to be speakers, but they died having not discovered that they can speak. There are people who should have been the best people in the world, but they died without discovering that. So what I can say to everyone watching us is that your time to fulfill purpose is now. Urgently discover your purpose and fulfill it, because we are running out of time. We do not have enough time, and God is counting on you to act on your purpose now.
So you how did you personally found your purpose? I mean, growing up from the typical villages, and here you are today. You are one of the people that we look up to in terms of how you conducted yourself, and in terms of how you academically, you know, spiritually, in everything. And how did you overcome that? Because I believe as a young woman, I think that's where didn't you have these temptations that came, and how did you, overcome that? Because that's one thing that mostly I always ask people to say. You just need to know how to overcome. But they said, but how do we overcome that? Because here's a mountain standing before me. How do? So personally, from your personal experience of your journey, how did you find the purpose, and how did you overcome those, little things coming to want to steal the purpose from you?
On my journey, I can say from a very innocent age, God hid me in His presence. I found myself being at church, I think maybe from the age of 9 or 10 or something like that. So my life was just church, after church, school, church, school, church, school, church, school. So I didn't have time to explore other things because we were maybe practicing a new song at church, we were getting a new memory verse, we were doing this and that. So I can say being raised from the village and under the leadership of God has protected me from all other things. If maybe I was raised in a different area where life is too fast, I would have maybe tried to explore, and who knows, maybe I wouldn't have came back to the person that I am. So
But what was
say,
pushing you? Because I believe there are most people that they also grew up in those villages, and at a very young age they started going to church, but they lost it along the way. What was motivating you personally? Like, did you have something to say? I will tell you why. Because I grew up and telling myself, I had a group of girls where we'll say, we are going to get married, being virgins, and this and this. So we will encourage and keep on checking each other time and again. What was driving you to have that thing to say, you know what, forget all this thing, I'm focused?
Thank you so much for that question, Mom. And if I were to reverse the time and try to remember, I think what has kept me is what people have said. There's this statement that says, can I say it in Tsonga?
Yes. We'll try to interpret it.
In Zilwamavivi.
Oh my gosh. It's a paraffin fire or something like that.
It's fire with light firewood.
Okay.
So it will quickly
die. Aha.
That's what people
More
said.
like when you put paraffin and immediately it finishes.
It doesn't have wood to support it.
Okay.
Sort of like that. Or fire.
Say it again in Tsonga.
Inzilo Wamabibi.
Somebody's lady something today. Inzilo Wamabibi.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So people have said that because we were so on fire for God at a very innocent age, and they're like, no, it's something that will not last. So deep down in my heart, I was like, no, God, carry me so that what they've said should not come to pass. So that statement was in the back of my mind to say, we've seen people starting with God, and there they are. They didn't finish well. But I was like, God, can I not be part of those statistics that are said to? They were once running with this gospel, but they have fallen away. So I can say it is God, and also the motivation of those negative words to say, no, it cannot be so with my life.
So the bed came, but you took that and shuffle and step on it and say, this I will wake it up to us. And while we were talking off air, you spoke about that when you failed in your academic, you failed the first year, the second year, and then you didn't want to go back to school, but you discovered
tired of failing.
You were tired of failing. But what was going on in your mind? Did you just say, you know what, God, Bona, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Have you come to that stage where you're like, I'm done?
Yeah, I think the most discouraging phase is when you discourage yourself. There's no amount of encouragement that can come from other people that will make you feel better, because already you have discouraged yourself. So I was at that stage where I was like, I'm never going to study again. I'm never going to any university. I don't want to fail again. But I thank God for Destiny Help Us, my sister who applied on my behalf.
Thank you, sister. We really appreciate you. We need you.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. So I thank God for her. So in essence, I'm saying sometimes we are too tired on our own. We need people to carry us to say, you are not done. It is not the end of you. I see greatness in you. I love you. I care about you. Pick yourself up. You can do better. You can do great.
She applied for you.
She did. She did. She even packed my clothes.
Say, hey,
to say we are
I'll
going
kick
to
you to your destiny.
Yes.
And when you get to university, how were you focused, or you're like, you know what, yeah, right?
What has stood out for me at the university is the SEO. God there has just changed my life.
So
entirely.
we need those prayer groups in the varsities.
We do. They're important because they keep you focused and spiritually sanitized. So there are no other things that can tamper with your mind, your spiritual life, and your academic life. So with the support of the SCO and me studying, I was focused. I was able to finish by the grace of God, and now I can stand and say I'm undefeated.
Yes.
I didn't allow failure to determine my future.
Awesome. So we do need those people in our lives, and we do thank God for those destiny helpers that indeed they're always there to encourage us.
Yes.
Then when you were there also, you were focused on your studies, and here you are today, you have graduated. Am I right?
Like I've said, academically and spiritually.
So you got a combo.
A combo. The preacher came out of the SEO and an engineer came out of the school.
Awesome. And now you are married. So it's a, what do you call it? Because combo it's 2. So when it's 3.
It's also combo. Plus.
It's a combo plus. But I want you to talk to somebody, a young woman who is out there broken and hopeless, have no one to talk to.
Okay.
And they just feel, I really hear you, Michelle, but I don't know where to go from here. I have no one to talk to. Everybody that I talk to, they discourage me. They bring me down. You know, I can't find those destiny helpers. What do I do where I am right now?
Okay, in terms of destiny helpers, we have a lot of them. We have destiny connectors, people who can connect you to your destiny. We have destiny recommenders, people who can recommend other people who can help you. Like that young girl who was a slave in Naaman's house. She didn't carry the healing power, but she could recommend someone who can heal Naaman. We also have destiny sponsors. Sometimes the dream you have might be too big, but it could be that you don't need to sponsor it from your pocket, but the money you need it is in someone's account. So for you to really get people, today we have social platforms, though sometimes others misuse them. You can get a right tribe there. You can find people who are praying. You can find people who are motivating. So start by talking to God, writing down your fears and all these things. You can also follow TV shows like this ones where you get hope and be inspired to be a great person. So you don't have to feel all alone. God is with you. And the reason you are watching this today is because your life is about to take a new turn. You just need to start actioning what God has been telling you to do. It could be to start a project where you give to the poor. Even if you give one person or one child, you buy them uniform or you buy them stationery. God has laid something in your heart that you need to do for other doors to open. So if you don't do that one particular thing, you won't be able to reach the other doors that you want. For example, I was asked, how did I start speaking and getting invitations? I'm like, I just took one opportunity where I was asked to speak. And from that opportunity, the audience, they didn't forget what I've said. And when they had events, they're like, no, there's a person who once spoke. So if I didn't speak in that one event, maybe I wouldn't be sitting today. So you just have to do that one thing that can open more doors for you.
Awesome. Wow. What a wisdom. And your last word, and also where do people get hold of you if they want to invite you to their function? I heard you are an MC,
Yes.
and you are also a speaker, you are a preacher.
Hello.
So somebody, somebody's sitting out there and said, how do I get hold of this? Do you also do mentorship or anything like that?
Yes, I do, just that it's not yet formal, where
Okay.
you can have maybe classes and stuff like that.
All
But for
right.
now, I'm doing one-on-one. When people come and say, can you please mentor me, I do allow them to come under my mentorship.
Where do people find you?
I'm very active on Facebook.
Yeah.
So my Facebook name is Mixo Mulaudzi, in brackets, the preacher. So
Awesome.
they will find me there. They can send me an inbox and we can talk from there.
Awesome. Your last word to somebody out there who's really listening to you about purpose as we wrap up this show. What is your last word about purpose?
You are born for such a time as this. Discover your purpose now and liberate the people that are assigned to you. God is counting on you to act on your purpose as an emergency. Act now, and God is going to be happy with the action that you take because He's counting on you. He has allowed you to come because He knows you are able to do it. Don't give up. Pick up yourself and fulfill purpose. Purpose does not give up. Purpose does not lose hope. Purpose is what you were born to do, and do that, you will feel fulfillment and you will feel delight in your heart. Go out there and fulfill the purpose that God has destined you to fulfill.
What a wisdom that we receive from such a powerful woman. Indeed, we need women like her in the time we are living in. And also for the fact that she reminded us about the purpose. For me, I am taking something out of this show today. If you also want to be part of this, please do DM me, and I am on Facebook. I am Hope Sibuyi, and also on Instagram is Dr. Hope Sibuyi. But also do DM me on our website, which is www.oneafricaradiotv.com. Do send me a message. We want you to come here and show the world what you have. Either you're a musician, you're an author, you're whatever that you want the world to know about you. This platform, we are the connectors. That's why it's called Rope for Hope. But from me to you, we love you and do take care. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and also hit that notification button, because we will bring you more shows like this. From me to you, peace.